Jazakallah, first of all, to Brother Tawsif and the ISOC for having me here today to deliver this short FOSIS presentation. My name is Samir Qureshi, and I'm part of the FOSIS Midlands Committee. So this presentation is, I'm just going to tell you a bit about what FOSIS is and what we do. So the FOSIS itself was established in 1963. So it's been going, mashallah, for 49 years. It's the 50th year, mashallah. Okay, so it stands for the Federation of Student Islamic Societies. Can establish from the name that it's sort of an umbrella body for all of the Islamic societies in the UK and in Ireland. And its main purpose is really dedicated to serving Muslim students across the UK and Ireland. And this powerful ayah from the Quran, hold fast to the rope of Allah, all of you together, and do not be disunited. And that really is the essence of FOSIS, regardless of your ethnicity, of your race, of the language you speak, and of your location. The main thing for Muslims is to be united, inshallah, and that's one of the main purposes of FOSIS. So like I mentioned before, it's been active for 49 years. So what do we actually do? So first of all, events. We organize a lot of events. For example, the Midlands Qiraat competition that we had last year, and we're having this year as well. We've named it the Quran competition this year, and it's going to be held at the University of Birmingham in mid-March. And the main aim of this particular event is to just draw students closer to the beautiful Quran. It really is glorious, it's miraculous in every way, not just linguistically, but even in the way it was revealed. So the main aim is for students to draw closer to it, to gain an understanding of it, and understand its meaning and its stories, and apply it to their day-to-day life. So, and in fact, in a hadith to the nearest meaning, Prophet Muhammad said that on the Day of Judgment, the Quran will be an intercessor for you on the Day of Judgment. So inshallah, may the Quran guide us all to paradise, inshallah. And that's the main purpose of this particular event. Obviously, we arrange speaker tours as well, anything really that the ISOCs ask for, but we arrange for international speakers as well as regional and national speakers. Inshallah, we'll get Sheikh Zahir on a speaker tour soon as well, inshallah. This incidentally is Brother Abu Hafsa, and he's a very, very interesting story actually. He was born blind, and if you YouTube him, he always delivers this talk called Blind Eyes, Not Heart, and it's really, really inspirational to watch because he was actually born blind and he became a professional wrestler, which is a very, very interesting story, so you YouTube him inshallah. And the annual conference is another big thing at the end of the year. Again, to promote this idea of unity, we draw together all of try and get as many students from across the country, across the UK and Ireland to come to this. Last year was held in Cardiff, and just a series of inspirational talks, and the most important thing is the atmosphere is really, really good. Similarly, you have a winter conference every year, a bit to a smaller scale, but again, the main purpose is for that unity. Another theme of FOSIS is looking at the political side of things. So campaigning, it's a picture of our FOSIS president, Nabil Ahmed. You know, when the tuition fees rose, there was a big campaign to sort that out because it was going to disproportionately affect the Muslim population. So lobbying for the student cause, participation with the National Union of Students as well. This brother Osman Ali, he was an ISOC president in the old days, and then he was also a FOSIS National Executive Committee member, and now, mashallah, he's the Vice President for the National Union of Students. So if you imagine representing Muslims on a very national scale, and he's in fact representing around 7 million students in the country, so it's a big position. And recently the FOSIS have done a drive to get Muslim students across the country elected as NUS conference delegates for the annual NUS conference, where they can have a say in motions passed about affecting students. So alhamdulillah, this year we've got more Muslim NUS conference delegates than ever before. So that's the political side of things. Also, In terms of the ISOC training as well, that's a key element of FOSIS, one of FOSIS's key points. So really, it's all about building confidence. Recently we held in the Midlands and in different regions in the country ISOC 101 for the ISOC committee members. And really the purpose of that was simply just to build the skills of the ISOC committee members, the teamwork, communication, leadership, all of the qualities required to run a successful ISOC. And alhamdulillah, that was very successful in the Midlands. Enjoying the good. Okay, yeah, we try to again promote the idea of unity. We try and get different ISOCs together. So inshallah, coming up in March, keep your eyes peeled for more information. For the brothers, inshallah, we're going to be having an ice soccer event at Lecutre University, and we're going to have a barbecue as well. So 7-a-side teams. So inshallah, we're here to see some teams from Northampton down there as well. National Student Quran competition, I mentioned this before. So regionally, we're going to have the competition, and then the finals will be at the first annual conference at the end of the year, inshallah. Okay, yeah, this was brilliant as well. For Charity Week, we trekked Mount Snowdon in Wales. So it was a really character-building adventure, really. But it was worth every drop of sweat and every muscle pain for a good cause, alhamdulillah. So just to get the ISOCs together and then raise money for charity. Fresher packs, of course, as well. You might remember you received some fresher packs at the start of the year as well from FOSIS. Who do we work with? Okay, obviously we try to work with as many scholars and sheikhs as we can. So here, just a few of them. Mufti Ismail Menk from Zimbabwe. You might be familiar with Sheikh Faraz Rabbani. Sheikh Idris Tawfiq was actually a Christian priest before he kind of reverted to Islam, mashallah. Who gives very heartwarming talks. Just a few of the sheikhs. Organizations as well, there's a few organizations that we work with as well. You might be familiar with Al-Maghrib Institute, Islamic Relief, working for charitable causes. So your regional team. So you've got your Midlands chair there, Zain Malik. If you need to contact him, there's his email address, inshallah. midlands.chair@fosis.org.uk. I'm quite happy with that. Vice Chair Abdullah Latiki. And for the sisters, Vice Chair, midlands.vicesister@fosis.org.uk. If you've got any questions at all to ask. And inshallah, we've got our AGM coming up soon as well. So if you'd like to get involved with FOSIS, you can even run for positions on the FOSIS committee, inshallah, and you can find out more about what FOSIS do and what we've been doing this year in more detail. And yeah, you can run for the committees and make real changes. And I'd like to end on a hadith from our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, an extract from the hadith to the nearest meaning. Where you might have heard of this 5 before 5, take care of 5 before 5. So take care of your youth, 2 of these, take care of your youth before you become elderly, and take care of your free time before you become busy. And inshallah, we're all students here, most of us. So inshallah, make the most of our youth. We want to, in a few years' time, when we're older and a lot more busy, we want to think to ourselves that we made the most of our youth. So try and get as involved as you can in your local ISOCs, and in the FOSIS as well, if you can, inshallah. Volunteer. And support, I haven't actually got any donation forms or anything, but in the future, if the opportunity arises, please donate to us as well. Just run this for a second. Okay.
And now, your federation needs you.
Supporting over 100,000 Muslim students
in over 100 Islamic societies across the UK and Ireland.
Since 1963, and now,
your federation needs you.
Just £1 a week can help FOSIS support and serve Muslim students for generations to come.
Make a real change by investing in our culture today.
Okay, excellent. And just to conclude, you can follow us on Twitter or Facebook as well to get regular updates about the upcoming events as well as the sisters event. That's the final decisions are being made about that. Obviously, the ice soccer event for the brothers as well. So find us on Facebook, inshallah. And that is all. Jazakallah khair, everyone. Thank you very much.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Smoke, for that introduction and telling us a bit about both the moment we've all been waiting for. Sheikh Zahir Mahmood to give a speech, inshallah, on heroes of Islam.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين مولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. Something just came to my mind when the brother mentioned the title, although I knew the title earlier on. Something just came to my mind, the heroes of Islam. See, whenever you have a title like the heroes of Islam, what comes to everybody's minds is he's going to be speaking about the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. He's going to be speaking about one individual, or some individuals, male or female in Islamic history, who were great ambassadors for Islam. And I think that's one of the fundamental issues that Muslims have. Nobody really tries to be a hero themselves. And when I mean hero, I don't mean hero as generally understood in the Western context. Nobody endeavors to be a person, a man or a woman of substance. And this is why one of the major problems that Muslims have today is that we like to live off our legacy. So we like to live off the heroes of Islam without ever endeavoring to reflect those heroes. And this is when you look into Islamic history, you will see that men like Nuruddin, rahimahullah, was known to be very, very inspiring. Nuruddin, for those who don't know who Nuruddin was, he was a teacher of Salahuddin. He was the king of Syria. He was actually Turkish in descent. And he was Salahuddin's teacher, a very pious person. And Ibn Athir, the famous historian, says that I have studied the history of all the kings and the Khulafai Rashidun, and since Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah, the Muslims never had a leader like Nuruddin. That was over 400 years later Nuruddin came, meaning for 400 years the Muslims did not have a leader like Nuruddin. 400 years. And Nuruddin created a man like Salahuddin. But if you read the biography of Nuruddin, he was known for his justice. Salahuddin would say, I learned justice from Nuruddin. And Nuruddin actually had entire books written on the life of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. He studied them, he had it specially written for him, and he practiced upon what he learned. He didn't live off legacy. He became a man of substance himself. And this is what's missing in the Muslim world today. Look at Umar ibn al-Khattab rahimahullah radiyallahu anhu. Umar, was a man who read books on the life of Anushirwan. Anushirwan was the Persian, he was the Persian king who was known for his justice. And Umar radiallahu anhu, when he became the Khalif, he had men from Persia like Hormuzan and others who lived in Medina who would actually read the books of Anushirwan to Umar ibn Khattab. Because at that time, the superpower of the day was the Persian superpower. And Umar, and they were a very sophisticated nation. And Umar radiallahu anhu learned from them whatever he could apply from the life of Anushirwan or from the system of the Persians. Umar radiallahu anhu, when they would take a Persian city, because in that time, Iraq was the center for the Persians. Madain was the center of the Persians. It wasn't in Iran, it was actually in Iraq. And Umar radiallahu anhu, whenever they took a city which was run by the Persians, he left it as it was. The systems, because there was the systems were very good. And wherever he had to give it an Islamic paradigm, he gave it an Islamic paradigm. They learned from others, they took. But what was unique was that they endeavored to be people of substance themselves. Now the problem today with the Muslim throughout the world is that we live off our legacy. So when we speak about justice, we say, look at Muslim Spain. Look at Muslim Spain. Look at the justice of Umar ibn al-Khattab. Look at the justice of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. Look at the concern that men like Salahuddin had. And then you have a football match in a Muslim country and 80 people die as a consequence. Because we have this tendency of living off our legacy, not trying to aspire to be what Allah says in the Quran. Allah says about the believers, He says, كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ. You are, every one of you is meant to be, man or woman is meant to be خَيْرَ ummah, the best of nations, the best of people. And then what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? He says about the believers that أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ. You have been taken out for the benefit of who? Not the Muslims, not the Muslims of Northampton. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses an amazing statement. He says, Linnas, that humanity should really see your good. Humanity should see your good. Now I ask a question, which Shaykh Yawar also asked. I ask you, by some miracle, if tomorrow the 1.3 or 1.5 billion Muslims disappeared off the face of this earth, disappeared, would humanity miss the Muslims? And I'm not asking you as, you as an individual, maybe, your neighbor would miss you because you send the samosas and the pakoras. I'm mentioning as a community. Would humanity really miss the contribution of the Muslims today? I know there'd be a lot of people throwing a party, a lot of people celebrating, but the truth is, I don't think that many people would miss the contribution of the Muslim community or the Muslim countries. How did that happen when Allah says in the Quran, كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ. You are the best of ummahs, best of nations, that humanity should see your good. Humanity should see your good. Because one of the problems is that we live off our legacy. Secondly, we are idealistic for everybody else, but we're not idealistic for ourselves. So, the Islamic society, and I mention this every Islamic society, so nobody should take this wrong. The members of the Islamic society who are in charge expect everybody to flood in for the talk without actually breaking into a sweat themselves. Because responsibility in Islam is not a position of honor, it's accountability. None of the Khulafa al-Rashidun wanted to take a responsibility. None of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. Umar was passing away. Look at the words of Umar. Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu entered the room, and Umar radiallahu anhu was passing away. And Abdullah ibn Abbas said, Umar was crying. And who was Umar? This was radiallahu anhu, who was he? This was a man in a period of 10.5 years as being the Khalif. He brought down the two superpowers of the day, the Byzantines and the Persians. 10.5 years. The Persians had been a superpower for over 1200 years. Just for a short period when they were defeated by the Greeks. That's the only time they relinquished being a superpower. And then they became a superpower again. 1200 years. Put that in the context of Muslims. We've been around for what? 1400 years? And you look at the issues that we've had, the highs and the lows and the ebbs and the flows. But you look at Umar radiallahu anhu, he brought them down, and then if you look at those parts of the world, the Persians, the Zoroastrians ruled, very few became Zoroastrian. The Byzantines ruled, few more became Christians. But when the Muslims came, the vast majority of that peninsula embraced Islam. Why? Because Islam didn't just practice, your salah. It wasn't just your beards or your hijabs. They understood their responsibility that kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat linnas. You are the best of nation taken out for the benefit of humanity. And Umar radiallahu anhu, he spread justice. Anybody who could not work in the Muslim world, Umar radiallahu anhu had an allowance for him. The narration mentioned that Umar radiallahu anhu once walked past and he saw a group of Christians who were suffering from leprosy. Umar radiallahu anhu took out wealth from the Baytul Mal and he spent upon them. And those who were cured, fine. Those who were not cured, Umar radiallahu anhu spent on them until the day they died. Umar started child benefit. Brothers laughing at the front. Umar radiallahu anhu started child benefit. This is no exaggeration. Umar radiallahu anhu, when he was the Khalif, a group of people came into Medina. And when those people came into Medina, Umar radiallahu anhu asked Abdurrahman ibn Auf, he said, let's go and look after these people. Now who were these people? Abdurrahman ibn Auf was who? Who can tell me who Abdurrahman ibn Auf was? In the audience. MashaAllah, Ashra Mubashara fil Jannah. What else? He was a multi-millionaire. He was the richest out of the Sahaba radiallahu anhu, him and Uthman. When he came into Medina, he was penniless. And the amazing thing, he was from the Quraysh, he was a multi-millionaire, and his sister was married to who? His sister was married to Bilal. Multi-millionaire. And what's Umar radiallahu anhu, the most powerful man on the face of this earth, saying? Look, let's go and help, let's go and assist these people. And they go and all night, they look after these people. And during the night, there was this lady whose child kept on crying. So Umar radiallahu anhu went up to this lady and he said, look after your child, is crying. She didn't know this was Umar radiallahu anhu. Later on, Umar went again. And Umar radiallahu anhu saw the child crying again. And Umar radiallahu anhu said, what a evil mother you are, your child been crying all night. And you're not looking after your child. And she said, the reason my child is crying, that I'm trying to wean him off. Because Umar ibn al-Khattab has stipulated an allowance for every child who is weaned off. And I need that money. So Umar radiallahu anhu asked her, how old is your child? And she gave his age. And Umar radiallahu anhu said, don't hasten. Take your time. And then Abdurrahman ibn Auf says that in the Fajr Salah, I swear by Allah, Umar cried so much that we couldn't understand his recitation. And then after Salah, Umar radiallahu anhu turned around and he's speaking to himself. He said, woe unto you, Umar. How many children you must have killed due to this rule of yours? Then Umar stipulated that for every child born, they would be given an allowance of 100 dirhams. Almost 1400 years ago, Umar radiallahu anhu started child benefit. And now Cameron wants to stop it. Muslim community's got a serious problem. I know you guys have got no problem. You're not married, most of you yet. But don't worry, later on. Hudayfa radiallahu anhu, 4 days before Umar radiallahu anhu passed away, Umar radiallahu anhu said to Hudayfa, he said, "Oh Hudayfa, I swear by Allah, if Allah gives me life until next year, no woman in Iraq will need any man